All right, if we are all ready, start with roll call. President Kevin Smith, present. Vice President Estel George.
Here.
Secretary Jeff Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Brenneman.
Here.
Commissioner Matt McAleer.
Here.
Okay. And we need to start this off by making a resolution, or I'm sorry, making a motion to add resolution RRC 04-2025. Superintendent Black is going to come up and talk to us. We can have
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If everybody will take a minute to look at minutes from our last meeting. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First up on our agenda is to approve claims. I think everything looks all right, but I think we do have a question on the facade grant for the carriage house. I guess, can we have Christy come up? Can you talk to us real quick about that?
Sure.
Is that job completed?
The parts that he applied for are complete.
Are completed. So what was it, just out of curiosity then?
A lot of the masonry work, to put the roof on, finish putting the walls up.
Okay.
And he has some windows and doors that he put in as well.
Okay.
Is there any requirement that he finished after the grant? Because it doesn't look like that building could be used for anything yet.
Well, he is still continuing the work,
Okay.
especially on the inside of it. And he is considering whether or not he is going to then sell it for an investor or keep it himself to do something with.
Okay. So after they've done their first round of the facade grant, they aren't eligible to come back for that then?
Correct, for at least 2 years on the same building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions on the claims?
Motion to approve claims as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Christy, I think you are first up. Can you come up and talk to us about the facade grant?
Yes, I was just here to hear what you decided on that. So last month at the meeting, we presented kind of a summary of what the projects were, and then really just asking if you wanted to continue the project. We had asked in the proposal for, I think Sarah wanted a 10% payment for managing and administering that grant project. And you, if I recall, you were all going to discuss whether or not, so a couple things. A, if you wanted to continue with the grant, the facade grant program. And two, you were going to look at payment options. And I think the mayor was here and also gave some suggestions. So I was just here today to really find out what you decided on that.
Okay. I know, Mayor, maybe you can talk with us a little bit. We had talked maybe other funding options as far as that 10%. I guess I don't know if we've ever come up with anything else other than.
We haven't actually. I know I talked to the council, probably the two council people here, probably the most, about maybe putting that on our agenda and then doing an increase in the contribution instead of looking at a 10% match off the facade grant. We just have briefly discussed it, and, very early. But I would probably need to sit down with you and Sarah and see what you're kind of looking for on a number, and then see with the city council on how they want to do it.
Okay.
So, if it's all right with the commission, we'll table this for now, and we'll come back with a little more information on which direction we want to go.
Okay.
Wasn't there a question too about, somebody was gonna find out if we could fund that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think typically what Sarah explained is typically, like the 10% that she's requesting could come off the top of the grant. So instead of, for example, if you wanted to award $100,000 again, then you could take the 10% off of that 100,000, and the remaining balance is what gets dispersed out in grants, so that it's not actually costing you any additional money out of your funds.
Okay.
So that's one option.
But it's additional dollars that could be for the facade program. You take away from those.
Right.
And like Jeff said, the council wanting to address maybe raising, is it 5,000 right now?
I think it's $10,000 a
Or
year.
10,000.
Yeah. But it's been 10,000 for, probably since Todd and I were still wearing uniforms, so it's been a while.
So at the facade grant, usually we would already be accepting applications for the first quarter of 2026. So if you are going to table this, that will affect our timeline moving forward, and we can adjust it, but just so you know, we will not be then, well, we can't be advertising it right now like we normally would. The deadline would typically be the 4th Monday in November, so.
So if for some reason we decided we couldn't fund the 10%, would that end the program, or could we still approve going forward with the facade grant program with the other to be decided later?
I think that would need to be decided as far as, it's your grant program. You can decide whether to have it or not, whether or not you want economic development to help administer that and manage that and the paperwork and the tracking and all of that. That would need to be decided before we would move forward in initiating that. So that is something that you could, Sarah DeYoung is the executive director, and she would have the ultimate say-so on what she was willing to do with that.
I don't think there's any, do we have any opposition to the grant? It's more the funding of the labor end of it more. Is that where I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely for the grant program.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily opposed to the fee. I just want to make sure we can, by statute.
Yeah, actually do it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say.
I guess we need to know that first, Jacob, if we can actually do that. Okay.
Well, if the council is willing to offset that,
Yeah,
that's kind of a neat point for us.
very true. So I guess, sounds like we have more questions than answers right now.
I would still say, unless somebody has a reason not to, I don't know why we couldn't go ahead and approve it. And even at worst case, like she suggested, we could take the 10% off the top. But I don't see any reason to stall the whole program if we don't have to.
Or you can make it subject to the ruling on the 10%, what he finds out and so forth.
I guess, do we want to be that funding mechanism for them as far as that 10% going forward? Because once we get that, they do that 10%, that's never going to come off. I mean, if it's going to come from the city council where they're going to make a different line item in the budget, do we make that call now?
You have any thoughts on that?
The only issue is the city budget going into next year is pretty much set. We'd have to look for that funding somewhere within the city budget to do that. And we may be able to do that coming down to the end of the year and find some funds that we can encumber to do that with. So that's the only real question I had at this point, whether or not we're going to have enough funds left over at the end of this year to encumber those funds for it. question on whether or not it's legal, we just have to let Attorney Sandwich try to find out from State Board of Accounts and then get something back on it, but I certainly think we can move forward on approving the facade grant for next year, pending some research on how we're gonna fund that. So,
Rather than saying a specific amount, just how, funding and so forth.
yeah. How we fund that 10% for them to continue to be the grant manager, or if there's another nonprofit that wants to step up and do it for the goodwill of the city, which I'm not sure you're gonna find that, but that's the only other question that you have.
Real little footsteps.
Tom, do you have any thought one way or another on whether we'd be allowed to do it?
In respect to the fee?
Yeah.
No, not without looking it up, like the mayor said, maybe even consulting with the State Board of Accounts. I made a note to check the relevant statutes that, in respect to the redevelopment commissions to see if that's some type of a permissible expenditure. I suppose if the board wanted to consider that, you could make it contingent upon.
That's what I was.
Yeah, that's, okay.
Without a specific amount that we would do, whether it be 10%.
Well, or we want to keep that, so we did 100,000 last year, is what we did, 25,000 per quarter, correct?
Yeah, so if you were to take the 10% off each quarter, there'd be 22,500 to distribute rather than 25,000.
So we just make a motion to, on the 100,000 and contingent on the 10% contingent on what we find out with Mr. Salmon's here this year. Because we're gonna have to do some kind of contingency on that just to make sure that's legal, right?
Right.
So.
You got that worded, Jake?
Yeah, how do we want to reword that?
I'm not sure exactly how we want to word it.
Just whether or not redevelopment can pay for it.
Yes.
With the Indiana code that's applicable. So,
I make the motion that we continue with the grant at the same amount that we did in 2025, contingent upon what we find out about the fee.
Yep. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you. Will somebody notify our office and let us know what you find out about that?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, thank you, Jacob.
Okay. 126 East Elm Street.
Yes, I only wanted to give a quick update about this. There's no motion to make or anything like that. But the property has actually been sold to Mr. Saavedra. So I understand that he's been in contact with us a little bit. Apparently he plans on renovating the structure.
Okay.
So we'll be working with him to see what exactly his plans are and what steps need to be taken going forward. So just wanted to give an update on that. That was it.
That is good.
Starting with the foundation.
Yeah, I'm somewhat skeptical about the idea of renovating it, but we'll be discussing it with him.
All right. Commissioner Black, or Superintendent Black, I'm sorry.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
Good, how about yourself?
Good.
This resolution this evening is pretty similar to the resolution that we brought before you at the last meeting. These dollar amounts that are discussed here within the $74,700 for engineering and the proposed amount of $300,000 for the installation of the utilities and paving is something that was brought before you guys several months ago. This resolution is just solidifying those discussions. I'll entertain any questions you guys may have.
Do we have any questions? already cut ground.
I will say, lunchtime tomorrow, the utility work will be done on 7th Street, and the paving is slated for springtime, which that was just awarded at our last council meeting to Town and Country for the amount of $82,000 and change. So we should be well under that $300,000 mark.
Awesome. All right. No other questions? We have a motion.
I have one,
Oh,
Kevin, just a comment. We may need Attorney Sammons to draft up an agreement to sell those properties that are in redevelopment's name. And I assume you'd like to sell those properties to a person who's going to build a residence
Yes.
on that. So I'm hoping, Todd, that we can say that we want residents built on those lots. And then funds go back to redevelopment once those lots are sold.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know that there would be anything else permitted there, right? As far as the existing zoning classification?
It's zoned for residential already.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, we can still make that part of an agreement.
Yeah.
That the buyer agrees to whatever the conditions are. If you don't even, put other, for lack of a better word, covenants in there, the size and stuff like that.
So we'll try to bring an agreement back to you at the next meeting, have you review it and approve it, and we'll get the lot sold as quick as we can, get it back to you.
Very good. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for 7th Street.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Phillips.
All right. So Resolution 05-2025 is basically the authority that this board can give myself or it be the building commissioner to sign off on the purchase agreements for the 3 pieces of property at 470 North Cullen Street. I know we've talked about it, but we also need to have it in resolution form so that we can go ahead and make those moves going forward. Currently, the agreements are done. They're with the title company now, and the title company hopes to get all the search stuff done that we need to get done to where we can close on the property sometime in the next 30 days. And once we get those properties again purchased, we'll try to return and sell that property as quick as we can, where so as not to lose anything on what our investment is already into the project, which I think was $76,000 approximately. And we'll have a little bit more money to knock the old building down, but I think hopefully we can sell those 3 properties and get a return on your investment.
That's 76,000 total for the whole farm.
Yeah. And we have 16,000 and 2 environmental studies, and then each lot's $20,000, so a total of 76.
Yeah, we paid the environmental study.
Yeah.
That's already been done.
No. So if you approve that resolution, it would give either myself or the building commissioner permission to sign those housing or those purchase agreements.
I will make a motion to approve resolution RRC 05-2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I don't think I have anything else. I know I've been talking with Todd and Attorney Otten, but I don't know that we have much else. I don't think so. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.